Hey everyone, I'm excited for this one. The Ayrton Senna series. This is the design I'll be painting on this monstrous canvas. I'm going to show you every single stroke in the series week by week. It's going to take quite a few weeks, but unedited, premiered every Sunday Sydney time, Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. Sydney time. It'll be premiered, so recorded beforehand, but I'll be there live in the chat. So if you're finding this for the first time, set a little alarm or subscribe, hit the bell and join in, because it's really cool. There's this small little community that's always there, and hello for you guys that have turned up again. And there's a lot of interaction between everyone, and I'm there to answer your questions and stuff. But yeah, so this is going to be fun. And the reason I'm excited, this painting has been in my head for a very long time, and only recently decided that I can combine what I wanted to do, which is this one, and YouTube, and show you guys every step of the way and hopefully teach some things on the way through. So here we are. I'm going to get started. When I find, here's my glasses. Right, so it's pretty overwhelming when you see something this big. So where do you start? And the real answer is anywhere you want, just start. What am I doing? So I'm not going to use that reference to start with. I've got it, it's projected up. You can, I'm not sure if the you can pick up the line drawing, but very vaguely drawn. Just a basic shape of the eyes, outline the helmet, the car almost outlined. There's no detail really there, just enough to map it out for you. And I'm going to do some more mapping now. I hesitated on the mapping word then, because that's actually what I'm doing first. So I have got on my computer exact one-to-one, so I can select any part of this artwork and push print, and it will print it to the exact size. So I'll just show you one here that you'll let you know that I haven't meddled with. Right, there, this part of the car, and I know it goes about right there. There you go. So it lines up with the helmet and lines up with it roughly. So what happens when you project, it's not super precise as this. Okay, so you get a little bit of I think it's kerning or keystone, I think it's called, where the projector's slightly off and stuff. So anyway, so the projection was for me was really just to, so when I get one of these sheets out, I know exactly where it goes. So I said I'm going to be mapping it out just because there's not much detail there. And so normally how I would do this is literally I wouldn't project anything, and I'd just start in the corner and do my flip method that I've told you about before, where I had the paint and I'm just flipping and I'm painting and checking that way, and I just do it section by section all the way around the artwork, right? Sometimes a little bit of mucking around to line it all up and whatever. But for the first time ever in my life, I'm using this technique, which I've seen many times. I've just never used it because I normally use the flip technique, where I've cut out key points on it, and I'm just going to use that first, put it in, and it's going to add a little bit more detail, but it's going to officially map out exactly where this artwork's going to go. So that's where I'm going to start with now. And while I do that, I'll talk about the prep that I did for the actual canvas. For this today, I'm going to keep the camera way back there, because I'm going to be sort of here, there, everywhere as I map it all out. And when I start getting into details, then we'll move the camera in a bit closer. All right, so I hope that works out for you. It's a bit hard because the canvas is so big. I actually run out of room that way, off the screen, to set the camera up. So, yeah, it's a little bit tricky. All right, so that's working. Let's get into it, Get some more tape, and I'm going to find this first one based off my line drawing where it goes. And I'm going to start with that eye one. That I've done a few, probably half a dozen or so pre-cut out ones. That way is the best way. So, see, just cut out the dark sides. Just going to tape it on. Yeah, interesting. So that lines up with what I've drawn. There's the eyebrows. Now, what I'm going to do, because I can print off the these papers anywhere I want, this is gospel. If my line drawing is a little bit out, then I'm going to ignore the line drawing. The line drawing there just help guide me into the right place, if that makes sense. Now here's the part 2 of this one, and if I stick that on, roughly, there you go, that lines up with that. That should be, lines up pretty good. It won't be perfect. We'll make adjustments as we go, but this is just purely the mapping out stages. I'm going to use, it's going to be full colour artwork. I'm going to show you every single part of it. Maybe mixing colours is a bit boring, but I won't show you the actual mixing of it, but I will show you, I will tell you exactly what I mixed and how I got to that, etc. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm just going to use those 2 for now. Use my reference, got an A4 reference there too. I'm going to actually change this a bit, and I'll show you that a bit closer. I'm not going to change the shapes obviously because I'm about to map out where this goes. I love the car, I love the background, how it's got some speed. Can't quite see it. I'm going to exaggerate a bit more in the painting, but I did like a double up on the tyres to sort of give you that motion blur. Really cool. But what I'm going to do, see, the helmet's faded in there, which I really like, the bottom half. I'm not convinced of the top half fading away or the back fading away either. So I'm going to play with it. It might end up back there, but I'm going to play with it and make that a bit more solid up to there as well. So less of the blurry background. That's why I sort of did it, because I liked the blurry background for the motion blur, show the sense of speed. But I'm not sure if the helmet stands out enough. So, and especially he's got the, you know, his Ayrton Senna's helmet, the yellow, is quite iconic. It doesn't, there's only glimpses of yellow in there, so if I can get a bit more yellow, then I will, so maybe especially up the top. And to be honest, part of the reason why I wiped them out is the more solid I make this, the more sign writing and stuff I have to do, which is going to take time. Okay, so I use this as my guide, and Payne's Grey I've got to start with. So Payne's Grey is a great colour. Oh, get myself organised. Some tape again. There we go. Stick this up on the side. Payne's Grey is a beautiful colour for making shadows, right? So for your shading colour, if you add Payne's Grey to red, it makes a beautiful shadow red. You add it to blue, it's a beautiful shadow blue. So by using Payne's Grey here, I'm going to, it's not going to muddy it up. If I use black, it can tend to go, things can go a bit green and starts to look a little bit muddy. So that's why I'm using Payne's Grey today. I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So that's to show me that part. And Payne's Grey is sort of a little bit sort of bluish, purplish to me. Not much skill using here. It's just literally just going to map out where this stuff goes. Still see my line drawing through it a little bit. That's the other thing. Black might wipe it out completely. Yeah, so I was going to talk to you about the preparation. So I am using Createx as usual. If you're using Createx illustration line for a canvas or anything, it's designed to be easily erased, right? So if you spray it on the synthetic paper, a really smooth surface, this stuff is like easy as to erase. And if you've watched me long enough, you know I don't do that. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just not how I do it. So the downside to that is, especially while it's fresh, there's an adhesion loss. So if you start putting these tapes all over it, you start peeling stuff off, and if you're going to do any masking, it can peel off later, especially on a surface like a canvas. So what I've done is I've got UVLS gloss with a spray gun, and I'll put it in the corner now of me doing it, and sprayed 2 coats over the over the whole canvas. So I'm a bit rattled today. I just realised. Put the timer on. I reckon it's going to be like 30 hours worth of work. So today's only going to be an hour and a half. So I'm going to put the timer on for an hour from now and see where I'm at. We'll do some long ones later, because if I say 30 hours, it's 30 weeks. It takes halfway to next year before you see the end of it. So there's going to be some longer videos along the way, but this first one, as we map it all out, is going to be a little bit shorter. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I've 2 coats of UVLS clear, and unlike when you spray paint, you must let it completely dry. So if you're a spray painter, what you do is you put your first coat on, and when it gets a bit sticky, that's when they call it tacky, that's when you put your second coat, and that tackiness sort of helps you be able to put it a little bit heavier and it holds it. This stuff, nah, you completely dry, you can touch it, nothing lifts off, then you put the second coat on. And I've also put UVLS in every single colour. So what that does, it means you can't erase it anymore, which is not a problem for me, for this project. And it means it's all going to adhere. No adhesion issues at all. Right, so this is learnt by experience, because I did have adhesion issues early days. So that's why that's the case. What have I done there? Freehand a little bit here. Hope you can see it right. I know I'm sort of blocking it a bit, but like I said, trying to get the whole canvas in. Anyway, that's probably enough. That's mapped out. Oh, I missed that little bit. This bit is the edge of the face. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Right. Okay, I've got to rely on, so that didn't line up with my drawing, and like I said, that this is going to be a gospel, but the only problem is maybe this is slightly in the wrong spot. So it's not very clear either. I actually think I didn't draw that very well. No, that's right. I haven't drawn the drawing very well. Okay, done. Okay, so they didn't take me that long to actually cut out, and obviously didn't take me that long to lay it down. Just to start, just very basic mapping at this stage. What I want to do, I don't want to get caught up too much in doing the flip stuff, because it's not going to translate that well on the video for you guys. So that's why I want to do that. I want to do it this way, so I've never really done this method before. It makes perfect sense to me. Like I said, I just hadn't really felt the need to do it before now. But it doesn't mean you don't do it. Alright, so that lines up with that one, and that one, and that's that one. There we go. Got a couple of key points here, so this part that I airbrushed there, I know lines up with that, so that's what helps me make sure that that's in the right spot. I've made this Payne's Grey quite thick to begin with, because it's very transparent colour on its own right, so it just makes it cover a little bit better first up. Right. Didn't like that one too much. It's throwing me, like I said, I don't normally do this, but that's so far off, but that definitely would be the projector throwing that off. But the main reason, and what I definitely would have done for this one today, is what I'm going to do next is the lettering. It's going to save so much more time, so to spend a little bit more time actually, let's go over the black part, cutting out the letters here. So that's going to be good. I'm going to freehand on top of it. It's not like you're going to get it perfect straight up, especially this way. If you're going to get it perfect straight up, then you would do like a vinyl cut stickers, and which I've got the option to do that. But downside to those is that it doesn't really stick real well on canvas, no vinyl cut lettering. Okay, interesting. So I'll line that helmet up with my line drawing off the projector, and that lines up with that wing. There we go. So I know that's very confident that's in the right spot. I'll also, must have made a blue here. I did, yeah. They call it islands and bridges. So I made an island there because this little bit in the middle. So I need to hold that there and spray that middle part. What I actually needed was the other part. So I'm going to have a hole, so that's going to be backward. But again, it's just about mapping it out. I'll keep that aside for the second. And just, how much do I spray it? Let's get this back up. Oh yeah, it's the edge of that B. This part, these lettering will definitely save me time. I don't need to do it 100%, like, it's really just about, think of this airbrush line drawing, but just more accurate, and some nice crisp sharp lines, and I can choose which ones I want to soften and stuff later when I airbrush over the top of it. So I hope this first week's pretty decent to watch, guys. Like, it's not going to be as exciting as when we start getting into the real details later, but it's still an important part of the process. And like I've promised this whole series, I'm not leaving anything out. You're going to see every single airbrush stroke, and yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Okay, so I'm going to stay close here because I don't have that middle part of the V. The Marlboro, the M, haven't got that middle part of it. I'll stay close, and I might end up even freehanding that a little bit, but I'll show you what I'll do here. Alright, so I've got that part done. I've got the M with the V in it, but the V, that's meant to be the white part, right? So I'm going to put it in, get this tape off it. I'm going to put it in and spray really light, so I know that's in the exact spot that it needs to be. Spray really light, so now I see where it's meant to be, but it's meant to be dark on the other side, and I'll just use this this edge here and spray it darker. That'll do, and then I can fill that in. So sort of half freehand, half stenciled. There's overspray where it shouldn't be and whatever, that's fine. Just to start, the whole thing's going to be free-handed over the top. Okay, so that's pretty good. Not 100% covered, like I said. What I'm going to do, I'm putting the used ones over there. I'm going to leave that one on for a second because there's a little bit of an overlap as I'll get the next one up. I'm actually going to whip through these pretty quick by the looks of it because I'm not putting much detail in. So, what's my tape again? So if you're new here, what I'm going to do, there's no, oh hang on, before we get to that. This one, if you watch my other videos, the Terminator, and there's a couple different skulls, and when I've given you a link to get the reference and have a go yourself and blah blah blah, I actually don't want you to do that one for this one. This is my artwork. By all means, do an Ayrton Senna, but there's photographers. This is, I didn't make it up. But I put it together. This is going to be my artwork. So yeah, by all means, use what I show you. Paint your own Ayrton Senna. Hopefully you pick up a lot of things just for your own artworks, whatever you want to do. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. There's enough about that. You see how that lined up perfectly, right? So that's on the edge. I know that's in the right spot because that's perfectly to the edge as well. So if you're, back to what I was going to say, you're here for the first time, I normally give you the free download, blah blah blah, but one, like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing this series, which I hope you do. It's going to get better and better as we go along. To jump on my email list, I'm going to put a link to my airbrush guide, just troubleshooting guides. A very, you know, I've put a lot of effort into it. There's a lot of really good information there to fix it, troubleshoot an airbrush that's not working so well. It's a free guide, but that'll put you on my email list. And what's the point of that? You say, well, I drop a lot of stuff in my emails, like I help a lot of people just from replying. I have just launched my first course. It's in its final stage of testing now, so that's why I haven't dropped a link to the course in the description. But I did a test group and it worked out unreal. A couple of those guys are in the chat. And now I'm doing one more final test group with email support. So the first lot, we did regular Zooms, and this second lot, it's going to be just email support because, frankly, really, that's all you need. The Zooms were really good for real-time questions, and I even printed out their artworks, which is some floating around, and I'd paint over the top of them. So here's one. This was Steve's, I think, from memory. So he emailed me this, I printed it out, and then I would have, on this one I obviously didn't paint on top of it, but I pointed out what to change and whatever, live on the Zoom. So that was really good, but a lot of the support came from the emails in between, the individual stuff. So that's what this last test is with that group. Just get on with painting, Damo, stop your waffling. Yeah, so like I say, that was a long-winded answer. If you're here for the first time, just grab that. I don't spam you. Oh, what have I done here? What was this one? That one was for that. And what was I using that for? I'll do that. That's just the edge of that. Got a little bit more of the B there. And it'll lightly give me the edge, even though that's white. And it'll give me the edge of the helmet. I might as well just do that. Get the tape out the way. Okay. The tape, stuffed it up. Put that back on. There you go. It gives me the edge of the helmet there as well. Bumps out. Okay. Now, what's the next one I've got? The whole helmet here now. I think because this is the first time I was like making up stuff, what I needed and whatever. What will this give me? Oh yeah, this will give me the whole helmet, and it will give me the top edge where the glove goes. Right, at least I'll stop second guessing myself, just do it. You can't have too much information, can you? It's like when you're drawing up off a projector, you can't draw too much. I'll just do it lightly. Oh, that part there gets dark because that's the visor. Freehand that. This really is just one step above drawing it up. For that sort of level of detail, especially the sign writing and stuff like that, the projector's not ideal in my opinion. Okay, that could be handy later. Actually, it's funny, it seems like I've that goes there. So this air scoop at the back. Fell a little bit short. There you go. Okay, it looks like I'm moving way down. This is the sign writing on the actual nose cone now. So I made this little V because it was lined up with the other one that I had before. So that's lining up with the drawing pretty well. I cut these out. This is the suspension arms. Fairly straight to the edge. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. I've got a rough guide of the shell sign. Oh, beautiful, and I forgot my tape. Hello tape, where are you? And then I moved it. Okay. So doing something big like that, this can be very intimidating. I get excited, I must say. And this is like, before I started my YouTube, and before I created my course, I was painting sports art, mostly Australian footballers, to be honest. I did a few different ones, but Ayrton Senna was always going to be my first transition to international sports, even though I had done a couple, but also cars, because cars was the other thing I do enjoy painting. So that was the plan with this. So I was going to do Ayrton Senna, Formula 1, so you get that. You tick the international box, I can start looking for an international audience rather than an Australian only audience. Also, I get a car in there because cars are fun to paint. Cars doesn't have to be sport. So, sport was the first part. And then cars are going to be the other thing I do. I don't enjoy doing family portraits. I've been down that route and I don't enjoy it. So, but car portraits, 100% good fun. So that was sort of my rough thinking. The YouTube and courses sort of took way more time than I thought. I was enjoying it, mind you, I'm not complaining, but I'm going to leave that one on before I do the next one because I've got the shell sign and that's about it, and it's got to overlap. Alright, well I think this is about all I've cut out, so got through this pretty fast. How are we going? I've been recording for 28 minutes, so actually not sure what I'll do next, where I'll start. I was thinking I'm going to start on his actual face, and there's no detail, so maybe I'll just keep going and map it out with Payne's Grey. Yeah, that's what I'll do, and then I'll start next week. We'll start putting some opaque colours and basically all this. It's almost like an underpainting. There you go, that's me thinking out loud. That's what I'm going to do today. Alright, so you see the advantage there of me leaving that first one on. That was much easier to line up. Let me know, guys, if you want a lesson on how to make your own one-to-one size references. It's absolutely 100% free now. Affinity, which is the a Photoshop equivalent, just released a new program that's 100% free, and it's seriously, it does everything Photoshop does. It's different because I want to, I guess, but 100% free, and so I can actually show you in a video how to make your own one-to-one references. If you want to see that, let me know. I mean, I might do it for myself one day anyway, just for, actually I definitely am going to do it for one of the lessons in my course. It's only fairly new, this program, and I've always done it on Photoshop, so I had to sort of teach myself because it's all a little bit different. didn't take that long, it's just locating where everything goes. Yeah, so let me know if you're there in the chats, let me know. Alright, wonder why I didn't cut that one out, that was a bit annoying. Look at that, 1, 2, I might do that now quickly. I'm going to cut this one out while we're live because we're ahead of schedule anyway. Look at all these. Alright, so this is not very exciting YouTubing. Scalpel, hard surface, and do the cut. Must have just got distracted by something. Well, I feel, you know what, I actually feel like I actually did it on another piece, to be honest, which I can't find. Before I start carrying on, I'm just going to quickly look. Oh yeah, it's very handy having one-to-one references on call anytime you want, because just because my ears. Oh, the other thing I did, I roughly mapped out, I numbered all the one-to-ones, so if I want this section, I look for the page 13 and print it out. Boom. Yeah, so that's, it doesn't line up exact, but just gives me a rough idea. Oh, I can't seem to find that one that I already did, so I'm just going to cut these anew. I definitely did it, I remember. Alright, bear with me, we're going to, there's a little rectangle here. And again, I don't carry on, I don't make it too perfect, just to get it started. You'll see as we go forward in other videos later on how these initial steps they disappear in the end, but they're sort of needed at this early stage. And especially for the sign writing, it just speeds up the process so much more, even though I am going to freehand on top of it. And I might pull out a little paintbrush, or I might a Posca paint pen or something along the way. There's no rules. Do what you want. It really didn't take that long to cut these out initially, guys. You see I'm almost done already. Sat at the kitchen table with a beer in my hand and a couple of cuts. At the same time, I reckon if you're doing this for the first time, which I am doing, but I know what I'm actually painting. If you're beginner level painting, it'd be super overwhelming as far as what you're going to cut out, what you're not going to cut out and stuff, so you've got to give yourself a bit of a break there. Oh, do you know why I definitely did the already did this on another piece somewhere? Because same deal about the islands and bridges, I didn't do the top half of the A and the R and the L's, so I could line them up with the other half that I'd already done. So I bet you're sitting on my desk inside somewhere. Betcha. But anyway, I can just freehand that. I know you can see that the top half of that A and goes like so. That'll do. The R, that's right, it's just a really thin line there. These actually go a fair bit higher. About that much higher. And I didn't spray that bit. There we go. And you can't really see much from there, I know, but like I said, we're just going to, for the mapping out, you want to see the overall thing, what I've done, which is not that much. And there we go. Alright, so that's all I've got cut out. I'm actually might just quickly pause the video, guys, and set up the camera and canvas a bit closer, because I'm going to start working on the portrait on his eyes just with the Payne's grey. Alright, so give us a second. Okay, so that 1 second for you was about 5 minutes for me. I've dropped the canvas down, so it's between my shoulders and stomach. It's a comfortable place to do it. I also went in and printed my first one-to-one colour section, the eyes. See how that lines up perfectly. That's the advantage of having the one-to-ones. It's the first time I've done that. There are others I had before with black and whites, just to map it out. I'm going to double check that that does line up perfectly. I'm going to say about the flip method, right? Yep, there we go. And yep, there we go. I'm not going to do the flip method because I just made sure that that all lined up okay. I will use it if I get stuck, if just some double check. Not get stuck, I'll just use it to double check. So clear a bit of space. I'll not grab my stool. So yeah, it's a very, very handy and for me now essential sort of thing to have that that one-to-one reference. I always have it. Okay, so I'm not going to, again, I'm still sort of underpainting stage is what I'm going to call it, alright? I'll put that there, can you see that? We're a bit closer, I hope you can see alright. Yeah, so I'm just going to freehand this, still with Payne's grey. I've got the cap on, I've actually got it a little bit thicker than I normally paint it as well. I don't know what that cutout was there, but that is incorrect. You see how transparent the Payne's grey is, so that's why I sort of made it a little bit thicker. Still spraying okay though. And don't forget there was a little bit of UVLS clear in this if you're a Createx user. I'll tell you why I went to Createx. I used other inks for a long time and I thought that was just how they were. And I used Createx a long time ago, but it was before they developed the illustration. It was just the t-shirt stuff, and I really didn't like it. It was very thick. They didn't have reducers, blah blah blah. So I went off. I was like, nah, the stuff I was using was better. You know, I was having trouble with the stuff I was using. It was always inconsistent. So I thought I'll give. Oh, and the other thing, I was started to paint these. Yeah, so I started painting like not Ayrton Senna, like the Aussie sports stuff, and was selling them. So then it was like, oh, what happens with the inks I use if they're in 5 years' time they fade away to nothing, right? I don't know if they've got any light fast characteristics, light fast pigments, and they weren't acrylic based. I don't think. Anyway, they weren't advertised as acrylic based. Maybe they were. But so anyway, I thought I'm going to give Createx another shot because they're light fast, so guaranteed to last 100 years or whatever, and they're acrylic. So officially, I'm selling a painting. I wasn't saying I'm selling an airbrush painting. I'm selling a painting. That's what it is. So I could say it's acrylic on canvas. So I did that, and then. It was just chalk and cheese as far as, one, how much better than it used to be, and then how much better it was than the stuff I was using beforehand. So once I found out, I was like, well, this is it. I'm not going to spend my life chasing around and trying to find the next best thing or whatever. This is awesome. I love it. So that's what I did. And the way I figure is that they employ proper scientists, chemists, to develop these these recipes, including the reducers that they make and all that sort of stuff. So why would I try and bother making something better from my own shed? So yeah, that's how I came to that. And then later on they brought out 4021 reducer, which is what I'm using now. And that's when I realised how important reducers are. I was like, wow, how much better is this? And to be honest, the ultimate is automotive, thinner based, urethane based automotive base coats is the best, hands down. The airbrush just works perfectly, it covers when you want, they've got all the colours in the world, you've got transparent versions if you want, everything. But it's thinner base, right? You're going to be spraying with a mask and all that stuff. And you need the ventilation, and so not perfect for home, so you don't really want that, it's not ideal. But once they came up with the 4021, and I was just painting one day, it's like, oh yeah, this is much nicer. And yeah, they say it doesn't have as much tip dry, which it still does, as I'm about to wipe a bit off. It's just natural, it's just what happens. It's very hot here today. But I'm just spraying away, and then I was painting the motorbike tank. I was like, oh my god, this feels exactly like base coats. It's exactly like auto paints. So that was the first time then I realised how important reducers are, because it really made a big difference. So yeah, and that's what I did, stuck with that. And because we had a bit of a conversation in the chat last week on the last video about FW inks, and I'm sure, no doubt, most inks spray better. They're ink, which this is, I'm pretty sure Createx, they call them paints or inks. But there's a point in the pigment size where it just becomes, if it's above a certain point, it's a paint. If it's below, it's an ink. So obviously inks are a smaller pigment size, so they're always going to flow nicer, but this flows really nice as far as I'm concerned. I'm just going to check the flip method, because I don't like this one. Remember when I put the my cutout, I was mapping it, I was like, this doesn't feel right, and I completely cut it in the wrong spot. I can see, so my line drawing was actually better, so that's where it's meant to be. Yeah, a bit darker. So I'll just put it across there so I know later that's wrong. Boggle this out later with when I start mixing my opaque colours. Probably the other thing that we got onto, they were talking about, is why we got onto the inks and the different types, because they don't like the white ink. Whites are just painful no matter what. It's always a combination of the thinner, you want it thick enough so it covers, but too thick and they carry on and they're hard to spray. So, personally, I think if you get that right mix with the Createx, then you can make it work. Anyway. Okay, that's enough there. I'm just going to darken, put a little bit of down, because I'm going to use the opaque skin tone later. Again, this is really just that underpainting. Handy having that line that I had with my mapping, see? So I can just go, okay, that's where that goes. I don't know what happened with this one, but doesn't matter. Oh my god, what a gun Senna was. Yeah, always liked Senna, and obviously I do remember when he crashed and passed away. That was horrible. But they did a mini-series, and that was really good, but not as good as the documentary on him, mate. I watched the documentary first, and the mini-series, and I knew which parts that they sort of embellished and changed and that. But man, he was good. And ripped off so many times too. And him and Alain Prost ended up good friends in the end, and I think Alain Prost is he's in charge of Senna charity. They ended up really good friends in the end, but Man, he stooged him a few times. Alright, I'm just going to do a flip technique here, just to check. Because I'm right-handed, the flipping doesn't work as good. I should have had the camera on the other side, but I'm not going to do it a lot. Next week, if I do find myself using the flip a lot, which I didn't really intend to, but sort of old habits die hard, then next week I'll set the camera up on my right side, so when I'm flipping it, you're not just seeing a bit of paper, you're seeing the actual painting go down. Alright, so yeah, I got that pretty good. And then I've got to move it because it doesn't quite line up with that. Alright. Okay, sods guys, I just got to move that over. It's very important. Obviously this is the eyes and nose part, this is his face. I've got to get these in the right spot. So there, I just see, that's just over a little bit. I do it a few times, back and forth, and then when I take it away, I can sort of still see this there in my brain. If that makes sense. I've got that right now. And then I just go back and check, and yes, I was right. The other good thing with doing this, it actually gives a good idea of the focus of it too, because it's been blown up so big, it's actually quite out of focus. There's no super sharp lines here. I definitely am going to have to pull that back out at some point tomorrow. What I'm going to do, I'll check on the Premiere how this flipping looked with it on this side. And then decide whether next week if I put it on the other side or not. Okay, that's pretty cool. That lines up now. A little bit, there's a little bit, I need to put some white and bring it back the other way, but that's alright. Okay, this is very out of focus, so I'm just going to put that there. Now I'll pull this back out because the corner of the eye is very important. Now that is actually, the mapping was in the right spot, my drawing was not. You see when you're blowing up something this big that you can very quickly get way out of whack. Alright, that's good. That's okay. I'll get this off in a minute. There, all good. It's just a bit sharp, which is fair enough. It was cut with a scalpel. Pretty sure you can't make a scalpel cut that's not super sharp. Just where to put these little hints of the eyelashes now. Oops. So yeah, you're going to learn everything. No, you're not going to learn everything. I think there's only so much you can learn by just watching someone and copying. You need to do it yourself, but I'm saying I'm not going to hide anything. There's no special tricks and stuff that I'm not going to tell you. I think this is a cool little trick, right? This was like I went a long time not knowing this flip trick, and that was a big game changer for me. One-to-one references, another big game changer, which I've just told you about. Don't just because I'm giving it to you for free, don't don't ignore it. I don't know the word I'm trying to think of. Don't just take it for granted that it's just a nothing thing. It's actually really big trick. Definitely worth knowing. see these little fine hairs are still very, very out of focus still. Alright, so I had that bang on, but it's obviously really sharp. It was wrong, so I've got to go back over it softer now. Let's see, that was in the right spot from the line from the projector. I'll just make that a little bit more obvious. And pretty much off the page now. Alright, I'll take that off. Some tape there, so yeah, sorry guys, I feel like we didn't get a lot done today. How are we going for time? We've been we're about getting close to an hour now, I think. I've lost track of time. I forgot to put my timer back on when I left. So what I'm going to do is just this little bit. I'm just going to concentrate. I'm not going to get on another A4 sheet or not. A little bit more here, and we'll call it for the day. So yeah, it's a slow start, but it's going to build quickly next week. I'm not going to carry on about any more of this. I'm putting down off shot down the bottom of the canvas and that. I'm not going to do any more of that. Boom, we're going to concentrate on the face next week. I'll have it won't be finished maybe, but I'm going to put the effort in. We'll mix up some colours and do this A4 section basically. Then we'll move on from there. Next week hopefully I'll show you a new one with a bit more of the helmet done on the background, like a new reference. The bit more of the yellow shown on the helmet, a bit more here. Might get rid of that background altogether and have that helmet solid. That'll just give me a little bit more yellow, hopefully. So yeah, we'll call this very soon for the day. Yeah, so I was saying about Payne's Cray before. It's a really good, it's a colour you could put in. Basically Payne's Cray is made out of the primary colours, red, yellow and blue. You get a perfect combination of red, yellow and blue. All the colours cancel each other out and they become a grey. To me it's a bit more bluish. If I was making this and I want to be a little bit more closer to neutral, I'm seeing too much blue at this point. So I would add the other two. So I'd add orange, red and yellow. I'd probably add, I'm a little bit colourblind, so I'd probably go yellow first till it starts to look too green. I'd add a little bit of yellow in it. And then when it's just starting, it's still going to be like in that sort of neutral sort of area. Once I start to see it look a little bit green for me, then I'd add the red till I don't see that green anymore. Then I'd know it's much closer to neutral. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, the point is, you got, basically this is red, yellow and blue all together. So whenever you're making a shadow, you want a shadow red. The complementary colour to red is green, right? It's the other, so on the colour wheel, you've got the three primaries, red, yellow, blue. The opposite is the other two, right? So yellow and blue make green. So you put green into red, makes a shadow red. Or you can put this in, because that's got red, yellow and blue in it. So, long-winded way of saying, I've put this as an underpainting and do the dark bits. It's going to create a lot of these colours automatically. I'm going to make like an orange, and it's going to need to have some complementary colour in it, but there's also going to be some on the page. So there's going to be some extra complexity added, and it's going to look really cool. A long time ago I did a portrait. It was big like this, and I started with purple and red, and then I put opaque colour over the top, and that, it was unreal. I had he had veins on his nose and stuff, and then they all still showed through a little bit at the end. It was really cool. Anyway, there's not that much detail in this. This is, you see how out of focus all this stuff is. Don't even know if it's in the right spot. Doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, I pretty much got it. I'll have to line that up for you. See it this way, flip this way today. Look at that dot I'm looking at. I guess that's about spot on. It was like a bee's sausage hire. A little bit of these freckle sort of texture there. And again, that'll all turn to the orangey brown that we want later. Just a really good underpainting. This part's a mistake. That's off the page. Alright, I'm just sort of mucking around here now, guys. I think I'm just going to have to call it for now. I haven't got another print for like a colour print for these next sort of sections or up there done. I'll use this one. It'll give me an idea. Oh, yeah, a little bit of that there. Oh, yeah, we'll see that now. Bit of a dip there, which I don't see on that. So whether a wobbly hand when I drew it up or what, we'll see. We'll find out next week. I'll just go in the middle and smooth it out a bit for now. It's going to be an unreal artwork, and I was going to do it smaller, but it's just so much more impressive big. I can just see this when it's all finished. Alright, I'm going to call that for the day, guys. We'll go back out, we'll zoom out and have a look at where we're at day one. It's not a lot. I'm stopping now because I have been working hard. I did the drawing up, do the spraying of the UV less clear, all that stuff. So we'll go way back over here now. It's so big I can't actually get it all in the shot. Oh yeah, almost there. There we go. Let's see if we can do this little trick. Oops. Oh. Anyway, there we go. Me being an idiot. Alright. Duck down. Alright, thanks for coming, guys. I've got no idea how long this was because I stopped the timers. What's my thing say? It's 23 minutes this time. Yeah, we're probably getting close to an hour. Hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, share it with if you know any Ayrton Senna fans, share that around every single week. We're going to do a bit more. Next week will be a much longer video because, like I said, if this takes 30 hours, I don't want it to be 30 weeks worth of with videos, right? So I don't think it's going to take 30 hours, it'll be more like 20, and if I do them over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I said we're going to get it done fairly quick. Maybe it'll go a couple of bigger ones along the way anyway, but every single stroke you're going to see it all here. I'm not going to hide anything from you. You're going to see an amazing, this is what I do. This is before I did YouTube, before I do anything. This type of stuff is what I do, so I'm going to give you everything. It's going to be my absolute best. I think what's going to take the time is a lot of Ken Wood written on his visor and a lot of the words and stuff. You can simplify it a little bit, but I do tend to get carried away. I'll probably use some paint brushes, or Posca paint pens are there. Definitely the flip technique. I'm not going to try and project up those light tiny words at this size. Yeah, anyway, all right. Thank you for everyone for being here. I hope there's more this week. If you see this during the week, you missed the premiere, get in the premiere because it's fun. Lots of guys, there's some regulars that turn up every week, which I appreciate, but then you get to know each other a little bit as well, and discuss, and a little bit of banter going on there as well. So, all right, thank you very much, and I'll see you all next week.